Hi guys, how are you? And it's me, Alex. Sorry that we had to change our schedule. I know most of you were waiting for 6 p.m., but I do have other things I have to take care. In trucking, we are busy and we need to make sure that we still learning and we are preparing. So why is it important to understand your safety and compliance? Why is it important to know terminology? Why is it important to be on top of all the things which are happening in trucking? Well, first of all, because trucking is an industry which regulated by a lot of different agencies, right? We have local agencies, we have state agencies, we have federal agencies, and a lot of times people get confused. Why? Why do they have all these rules? Why we cannot just pick up the load, deliver, make sure that everybody's paying the good rates? Well, because we do have to make sure that we protect the public. We need to make sure that we are safe on the road, and we need to make sure that we kind of know which company is a good apple and which company is a bad apple. So today we will be talking about the Roadcheck, International Roadcheck. Well, before we're going to talk about this, and I'm going to add myself right here so you guys can see me, let's figure out who is actually in charge of doing all this and what does CVSA stands for. Well, first you have to understand that this is Alliance, Commercial Vehicle Safety Alliance, right? This is actually nonprofit organization which combines local, state, provincial, territorial, and federal commercial motor vehicle safety officials and also industry representatives. Well, what does this alliance aim to do? Well, they want to prevent commercial motor vehicle crashes, injuries, fatalities, and they do believe that together, if they collaborate between all these agencies, they can improve safety and save lives. Okay? So who is included in this? Well, let's see. First, you have to understand that we're talking, since we also have Canada who is participating in this alliance, we have states or provinces, local agencies, and federal members. If you really want to look into this, you have to also know that we have different class of members. So we have class number 1, which includes state and province agencies, right? That represent different departments of transportation. They represent public utility service commissioners, state police, highway patrol, departments of motor vehicle, and ministries of transport. So this is a class 1 members. Then we have class 2. What the class 2 includes the local members. So this is our local agencies, right? Represented already by cities, by municipal police department. So this is kind of goes on the local level. Well, then we have the class 3, which we call them associate members. And this is different types of organizations which also would like to make sure that they are part of this process, right? So we're talking about trade associations, bus companies. We're talking about suppliers, vendors for trucking industry. We're talking about even a small owners of trucking company, owner operators, right? And then we have the last one, the class 4. And this is our federal members, right? So this is a representation from our federal agencies. Well, besides that, we need to understand that we have this for 4 classes. We also need to understand that these organizations also goes by the regions. So because we are educational challenge, a channel, I really would like you to go a little bit deeper and let's see. Well, we can see that we have 5 different regions. All together, we have 13,000 enforcement officials that are dedicated for this program, this alliance. So they are committed to make sure that they actually do certain things. They do training. They actually go on the road. They educate. They actually find the companies which need to improve. And we have 5 different regions. We're not going to go and read each region, but we can kind of see. Region number 1 includes kind of northeast. Then we go region number 2. We go to north west, and we also go to south. Then we have region number 3, which includes Midwest and mountains. Region number 4 includes also part of West Coast mountains and part of for example, Alaska and Hawaii, right? We have region number 5, which includes all the French provinces and territories. So now you guys are understanding what is this alliance, why they getting together, why they have a different types of members. And of course, we're going to go further because you need to know where to find correct data. And I am always big on going to the main source, to your true source. So if you guys gonna go and you simply gonna put your organization which you're looking for, you're gonna find their website, right? So you can see this is CVSA.org. Let me make it a little bit bigger so we can see better, right? Okay. They have everything what you need to know. So let's start even learning about the inspections. First, if you are in trucking, you need to understand all level of inspections, right? And many drivers somehow always think that we only have inspection number 1, number 2, and number 3. Well, after today, you guys gonna understand that we have a little bit more than 3 inspections, right? So let's just overview really fast. Well, we have inspection number 1, which is called North American Standard Inspection. And in this case, well, they are looking at everything. They're looking at the drivers, they're looking at the vehicle that can go inside. They can check on your steering, suspension, tires, rims, hubs. They can go and check on whatever they feel like checking, right? So that's why this is the hardest inspection to pass. So this is inspection level 1. Second one, it's inspection level 2. And we call this walk around driver vehicle inspection, right? Well, in this case, they're going to be concentrating on a driver vehicle inspection procedure. And this we're going to see, well, they're going to check on your driver's license, medical card. They may check your skill performance certificate. Well, they can check you now in a clearinghouse, right? If you are prohibited or not prohibited driver. They can also going to go and check your hours of service, your ELD. They can check your inspection report, your brake system. They can go to your coupling devices. They can check your exhaust system, brakes, fuel system, lighting system. So this is inspection number 2. The next one, which a lot of you say, well, usually I get inspection number 3. The name for this is driver credential administrative inspection. Well, in this case, they are really concentrating only on the driver credentials. So they can check again your CDL, they can check your medical card, they can look at your skill performance evaluation, they can still check on your hours of service, your ELD, your seat belt, and they might even check on your annual inspection for truck and trailer. Okay, this is inspection level 3. Well, then we have inspection number 5, special inspections. So those usually happens when, for example, FMCSA, trying to do some kind of new rule? Well, they need to have data. They need to make sure that what they're gonna change is actually gonna be good for safety on the road, right? So that's inspection number 4. Then we have inspection level 5, when driver is not present. It can be done. You park somewhere the truck, you come back and you had inspection number 5. You can still get a violation because you were not there. This inspection can be done on premises of the company. They can come to the company and say, well, we want to inspect your trucks. So that's why some of you probably never seen inspection number 5, or you just were simply not aware of this. Well, then we have inspection number 6. Well, it's something to do, of course, with radioactive materials. So that's why most of you guys are not working. You're not a hazmat. You're not working for the companies which deal with the radioactive materials. We also have inspection number 7, right? And usually it goes to passengers, carriers, for limo companies, for taxi companies. So maybe some of you had it. Inspection 7, if you were working for the passenger carrier, right? And of course, we have inspection number 8, which is examination. If you read carefully, that specifies under North American standard electronic inspection procedure. And this must include descriptive location, GPS coordinates, electronic validation of who is operating the vehicle, driver license, endorsements, vehicle being operated, license status, medical card, skill performance, driver record of duty, right? Power unit registration, all of this, operating authority, UCR registration, federal out of service load. So inspection level 8 is actually conducted electronically or wirelessly while the vehicle is in motion, right? So it can be done when you passing actually your wait station. So now, guys, look at this. Now you already know where to go for all the information, right? And they have a great website. Let's look one more time. So you guys can actually learn about inspection. You need to understand your decals, right? When you get a good inspection, level 1 or 5, you can get a special decals. You can also have a special decals if you have good inspection number 6. You need to understand how they go. Application of decals. What does the colors go for, right? And we already been talking about this in the previous lives on YouTube. So you have to see that if you're receiving it, the green one, it goes for the first quarter, January, February, March. Yellow goes for the second quarter, orange goes for the third, and white goes for the last quarter. Also, you can guys learn how the vehicles reinspection, what's happening. You can understand out of service criteria. You can actually look at this Porsche's 2023 out of service criteria. They even have the shop. They sell a lot of brochures for you guys so you can actually educate your drivers. You can have your safety and compliance up to the standards, right? So let's go back. Well, we have events, right? So we have all of these events which they are educating our public, right? Educating professionals. But how do we know when is a road check is coming up? So first, all of these programs, guys, can help you to learn and stay compliant, right? Here you can learn about inspection program. If you actually want to become an inspector, you can learn this. You can be learning and be part with a human trafficking prevention program. But here's our International Road Check. So Why do we worry so much when we have road check coming up? Well, let's be realistic. A lot of companies, a lot of owner operators, a lot of people are afraid to go on those certain days. And the next road check is coming up May 16 and 18th of 2023. So today we are on May 14th. So for most of you, you have approximately 10, 12 days to make sure that your trucks, trailers, that your drivers are actually up to the safety and compliance rules and regulations, that their truck are maintained. And every time they do have some special things that they check, and let's say topics, they change, right? They want to make sure that they are checking different stuff from the drivers. So let's see, what is this time are we gonna be concentrating on? So let me bring this here. Let me actually make it maybe even a little bit, I don't know, bigger or not. So look at this. So this time, they are gonna be concentrated on ABS and cargo securement, right? So you'd better make sure that you guys check your ABS and you make sure that you know what's going on, that everything is in a good condition. Well, they're gonna make sure that during inspection, they will be looking and determine whether the ABS is required on the vehicle. They want to make sure that all the lamp cycles on and off are working during the diagnostic check. They also gonna make sure if you have any malfunctions and everything else. Plus, they will be concentrating on cargo securement. So in this case, well, they're gonna see if you ensure that you have spare tires, loads, cargo, and tonnage are secure and prevented from falling, blowing, spilling, or leaking from the vehicle, right? So I can tell you this, probably a lot of flatbeds, step decks, conestogas are gonna be stopped because they have to pay more close attention to actually securing cargo, right? They're gonna make sure that they inspect all the points for structures or damages. They also gonna be verify what kind of commodity are you carrying and what is the requirements for securement. So guys, this is what's gonna happen on this road check. You guys can also find all of this information and download the history, and you can also stay on top of the things. I advise every safety manager actually to go to the official site, download the brochure, make sure that your drivers are aware of what's going on, make sure that your maintenance department, that your drivers understand what's going to happen, and please don't be afraid. What's happening usually? Me as a dispatcher, every time when we have a road check, it's kind of like a bonus day, because usually, even in this tough market, what's going to happen? I can tell you what's going to happen. Some people are going to be afraid to go on the road because they don't take care of the equipment. So we're going to have less trucks on the road. That means that we gonna have a little spot market for those 3 days. Well, lucky us, hopefully instead of $1.90, they finally gonna give us $2.20 per mile for some regions and some type of equipment. But let's go to reality right now. Let's talk about new people or people who have been in this industry for 6 months, 1 year, even 2 years. What are you seeing nowadays? Well, you're seeing that most of the brokers are telling you, we cannot give you load because You are not 6 months in the business, 9 months in the business, 1 year in the business, but the main reason because you don't even have one inspection on your record. How many of you listening to this? How many hearing this, right? So why brokers start making up these extra steps? Well, because we have a lot of scams going on. Because we have people who book the loads under one MC and then they double brokering them under another MC. That's one reason. We have companies who have 10 trucks but only put on insurance 5 trucks. So the brokers are cautious because they losing a lot of money. Secondary, they want to make it harder and make sure that you are a carrier who is actually taking care of the equipment. They don't want your truck to be stuck in the middle of nowhere just because now you don't have your brakes working or you got stopped and you got out of service. So this is kind of part of the industry. Can we blame them? Well, not really. So that's why for some of you, this is a chance to go and get that inspection. But remember, if you're gonna get that inspection, it's better be a clean inspection. Level 1, level 2, level 3. Maybe you can even get inspection level 5, right? So make sure it's a clean. Because if you are newer company and you actually gonna get the first inspection, finally, you so happy to get that inspection, but you're gonna get the first out of service, well, now broker is gonna be happy. He's like, wow, you finally can prove to us that this is your real truck. But on the other hand, you are showing us that you are unsafe carrier. You're not maintaining maybe your truck. You're not maintaining your drivers may be speeding. Maybe you're still faking logbook. So let's go to the system which all of you should understand and rely and go check. And this system, which we actually call safety, our safety measurement system, right? So I just put somebody, I'm not really picking on anybody. I just had to put some kind of AMC there. So I just went and I put American. So let me make it bigger. So let's just concentrate on this. As a dispatcher, as an owner of the trucking company, as a driver, you have to understand that every inspections, every out of service, every good inspection or bad inspection goes into 7 different categories. And we're learning this in details in our safety classes. We're making sure that you understand. So we have our unsafe driving, right? What kind of violations go there? Well, your driver is speeding. Your driver may be changing lane improperly. What else can go here? Well, he I don't even know. We can find a lot of different violations which goes there. Second one is not public. You're gonna have the crash indicator. So when you go, you guys gonna see if they had crashes or not. So for example, this company only had 3 inspections, they had no crashes. Well, then we have hours of service, right? We want to make sure if these drivers know their hours of service, if they still faking logbook, if they know how to use hours of service, right? Because a lot of drivers still need the training, or a lot of companies are still faking logbooks. So if you're gonna get stopped and they're gonna find out, that's where it's gonna go. Then, of course, we have our vehicle maintenance. And look, in this case, we can see this company drivers, they do not speed, well, they do not fake logbook, but they are simply not maintaining their trucks. So if you're gonna go, you're gonna see what's going on with their equipment. Every violation has a certain number. It has a description, but the most important, it has all these points. And unfortunately, every bad inspection is going to stay on the record of the company for 2 years. The point's gonna switch after 6 months. the severity is gonna go to 2. After 1 year, it's gonna go to 1, right? So this is how we know what's going on. So look at this. Well, they need to make sure that they go and they actually fix their trucks. And you can see that this is happening all the time. You can see which state they were stopped. So if you open, you will see what time inspection happened, when was it done. So everybody in USA can see this data. That's how brokers know if you have inspection, what is the win number, when the last time, and which area are you failing on, right? So one more time, for our future safety professionals, for people who want to succeed, this is a part that you need to know. Well, let's have 1 second break and we will be back, and maybe I answer some questions, and then we're gonna talk about, well, okay, inspection happened, well, violations happen. Is there a system that we have in the trucking industry created by FMCSA or any other administration that helps us to maybe fight or improve our safety? So after the short break, we will be talking about our data cube. Well, let's say hi to some of our viewers. I see we have Oksana watching, and she says, well, inspection of commercial motor vehicle and drivers at weight station, designated inspection areas, and along roadways. Yes, and that's what we have. We have them happening all the time. But when we talk about International Roadcheck, we have exactly 3 days, and it goes in all the areas of USA and Canada. So lots of trucks get stopped, and we can actually see even the data for the previous year, how many violations were discovered. So we're gonna go to that as well. I see my favorite student, the owner operator, Mr. Lincoln, is watching. Well, he took our classes and he's always on top of his stuff. And he understands how important it is to maintain your equipment, to know what you are doing, because safety and compliance affecting if you can even book those loads, right? If you can get to better paying loads in this market, right? What else we have? We have somebody's asking me for new companies that have not had inspection, which keeps them from booking with certain brand. How can you get an inspection that shows in a record? Well, I've heard going to the scale. What do you recommend? Well, you can start doing that, but lots of weight stations actually denying that because this is a new trend. So now a lot of truck drivers try to go to weight station and ask them for inspection. So I can tell you this: if you, for example, use pre-pass, I would advise you to maybe take it out of your truck. I mean, put it in a foil so it doesn't read. Because if you come without pre-pass, you have more chances to get stopped at weight station because it's automatically doesn't see you. Because most of you guys, you have a safety rating none. That means you had no inspection. So they don't know if you are good or bad. And a lot of times it gives you that green light. So if you're really ready, if your truck is in good condition, if you're not faking that logbook, that's what I do. But I would also not be afraid on going on the road May 15, 16, and 17, because there you have a chance for sure. Just make sure that you pay attention to ABS, securement, paperwork. Make sure that all the signs are in place. Make sure that your folder in a truck is correct, And again, let's go through the folder, right? Your registration is in place, your IFTA license is there, your decals for IFTA is in their place. If you have hot sticker, if you have Kentucky number, if you go through Colorado, your last 8 digits are on the truck, right? Make sure that it tells the name of the company, the city, the state. You can only use USDOT. If you decide not to put MC, this is okay. Make sure that your letters are more than 2.5 inches and they are readable, right? Pay attention to those tinted windows, guys. A lot of times you get the violations because of that. Check on your fire extinguisher. Is it actually still in a good condition? Is it secure, right? Make sure that you have your safety triangles working. Make sure that you have everything which is very easy to maintain to the way the FMCSA has. And the biggest thing, have a good attitude, have a positive attitude, be polite. If you're gonna get stopped, don't give them a hard time. Tell, well, hi officer, here you go. What else would you like to check? When they see the clean folder, when they see that you dress up, not in your flip-flops, right? When you say hi and how are you, believe it or not, we talk to other human being. But if you're gonna come there with attitude, if you're gonna give them hard time, believe me, it's always something to find. Doesn't matter if you have brand new truck. If that DOT officer wants to find something, he will always find some violation. So let's just go back on being what? On being professionals, right? On making sure that you do what you have to do. And if you've been asked the questions, ask them politely, ask them with a confidence. Don't get afraid. Again, guys, even if you have violation, well, this is not the end of the world. So let's say you guys got the violations. Let's say a few more highs to my students. While I see Mrs. Morris is watching, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys too. I see my previous dispatch student as well. Thank you so much. So what happens when violations happen? Well, sometimes you guys have a chance to fight them. And how do we do this? Well, you need to learn, guys, about data queue, right? So data queue is a program which you as a motor carrier actually have your portal account. The driver can have data queue because if he's not agreeing with something, he can actually go and fight and say, well, this inspection was not my inspection, it's not correct on my or if you don't agree to something, right? All the FMCSA State Department, they also have access to this. And of course, this is not something which is hard. You go, you log in, you need to have your information, and you guys can submit requests for data review. One more time, data queue FMCSA here. I'm gonna copy and I'm gonna put this in the comments under the stream, right? So usually when you submit the request, right, and they have a help center right here, so lots and lots of information, guys. You should go and read the facts. Who can file the data queue? What can be done, right? What are supporting documents? All the educational materials are there, right? You can download PDFs. You can have all the analytical guide about data queue. Look at this. This is like 81 pages of explanation. What is data queue, terminology, background, and everything else. I can tell you this. Nowadays, with being in this time and age, with all the things we can Google, we can go directly to the source, with being able to do it from our phones, from our computers. Doesn't matter in which country do you work for carrier. If you are outsourced, it doesn't matter. This is just a matter of you learning. This is just a matter of you preparing yourself and actually improving. So we actually gonna be kind of finishing our live today because we already told you where to find all this, right? I want to make sure that you understand what we're gonna be concentrating on. If you like to see the report for the 2022, look at this. You guys can go to their official website and you can see their mission statement. You can see everything, what's going on, how many inspections, total inspection, what is the violations, everything what you want to know. They do have data available. And especially if you guys working as a safety professional, if you own your own company, you should educate your drivers. This is something that you need to understand. You even need to know what are the biggest violations, right? So when you go, you have the report, you have the purpose. You can actually go and see programs, right? So you have all of this, you have events, you have news, what's going on, you have trainings. Look, for 2023, if you guys gonna go for 2022, well, you can see actually the results, right? So if you click, you guys gonna see how many trucks were pulled out, for example, in 2022, 35,000, right? And look at this, from 35,000, 26,164, they got warnings, citations, and out of services. This is a huge number of violation because 35,000, 26, it's more than half. It's like 75%, right? So you can go and see exactly what the violations were, what they were concentrating, and you can see the five top ones, right? So let's see. Well, speeding was number one, so 7,000 number of warnings and number of citations. So when you talk about citations, we talk about the tickets. Look at from this 30,000, 1,600 they did not have a seatbelt, use of the seatbelt, using the phone, and improper lane change. So if you know that that's what they concentrate on, and you want to be prepared, maybe at least for those 3 days, do you want to make sure that you are wearing the seatbelt? Do you want to make sure that maybe you're not holding that phone and you using the wireless device? Maybe you need to pay attention to your speed limits, right? So what other stuff they were concentrating on? Well, also, this is a number that warnings and citation, right? So this is again, and look at this. The numbers are increasing and increasing, right? So every year, this number is getting higher. If in previous year they got 1,400 citation, look at 2022. 8,500 citations were given during this check. So, do you think that 2023 is gonna be different? No, I think those numbers actually gonna be increasing. So one more time, my dear viewers, my dear students, people who still debating if you need to learn about the safety, make sure you visit our training center. And again, we have webinar coming up on June 25th, how to open trucking company. If you want to prepare yourself, if you know if you are ready, or maybe to find out if that's a good time. We also have our IFTA in July and trucking safety and compliance also in July. We usually doing it only quarterly. That's when we do our safety training, our webinars. But in the end of this, look at this sunny, beautiful day. I should have closed my stuff. You know what? Let me throw you a little advertisement, and I will be right back. no, this is better. Sorry, guys. I guess the sun is really strong. Finally, we have a beautiful, beautiful weather in Chicagoland. Thank you for watching us on Facebook. Unfortunately, from Facebook, I do not see, guys, your names. But one more time, safety and compliance is a system. Safety and compliance, this is a simple knowledge. Then you need to implement, you need to train your drivers, and you just need to get better. Nobody's perfect in trucking. I don't even know one company who has perfect scores. Even if the company shows that they have no rating or they never had inspections because they are smaller, or maybe they were lucky, that doesn't mean that their truck, their trailer, their driver meets all the rules and regulations and credentials. Trucking is very challenging industry, and we sometimes do cut the corners. But again, guys, to survive in this industry, to make sure that you are not losing your company due to bad safety, due to accidents, due to audits that you cannot actually pass, you should invest in knowledge. And it starts with the basic understanding of the regulations, how to deal with this, what has to be done in the beginning of opening company, what is the ongoing processes, what does it take to train your drivers, what does it take to improve your safety, what if something happens and you need to learn how to write that corrective action plan, right? What is a corrective action plan? What is a data queue system? What can be done through the data queue system? Is this only inspections? Is this your audit request? Is this maybe something to do with crashes? It's a lot of things that can be improved, prevented, and your safety can go back to being satisfactory. You need to understand the different levels of your rating. Why does it change? Why sometimes company only had one inspection and brokers don't even want to work with you? Which violations are some which can be easily fixed and some are crucial? What some crashes are actually putting your company out of business? Why insurance companies are paying very close attention and actually checking if you put in those trucks, if those VIN numbers are correct, if your safety is in place. Why the brokers are giving you a hard time? Well, one more time, industry is changing. We have innovations. It's easier to check. And when we come to see the company and you go through audit, well, we can find way faster that you are lying, that you are cheating, and you not doing the mandatory things. Remember one more time, even if this is going to be concentrating on ABS and securement, they can check anything they want. And the first thing nowadays is going to be they check your clearing house. Was this driver actually not prohibited to be on the road? So your clearing house, pre-employment, the full query, then annual query is a must. Nowadays, the fine for violation with a clearinghouse, it's like $5,400. So my message to you, stop being ignorant, learn, improve, and be safe on the road. And I will be seeing you tomorrow again. We're going to have live about blind shipment versus double brokering, and also about what's going on in trucking nowadays. Why are we seeing so many scams? So tomorrow it is going to be 6 p.m. and hopefully I'm going to have more viewers and more questions, because we need to stop those scams. We need to understand when we're talking to the scammers and how not to lose your hard-earned money. Stay safe, love you, and we'll see you tomorrow.
World changing the world. We won't back down this time around. In every city, in every town. Whoa, we're changing the world.